Good morning, sixth graders. It is Tuesday, May 12th. I hope you had a nice weekend. It's a chilly weekend, very windy, but hopefully warm weather is on its way. All right, if we'll look at day 5 of week 2, and we are going to find percents of a number. Okay, so A says 20% of A is 11. Okay, so what we want to do is change 20% to a decimal. Okay, so we do that. Here's 20%. And you know, to do that, you have to take off this percent sign. And remember that a decimal point is always at the end of a number. If you don't have a decimal point and you need one, then it always is at the end of the number. So we'll put our decimal in there, and to change it to a decimal, we have to put in, we have to move it to the left. So we end up with 20% is the same as 0.20. Okay? Now what we have to do is we're going to see, okay, 20% of A is 11. Okay, we have to find out what number is A. All right, so then we will do, so 0.20 times A equals 11. Okay, remember that of in math means multiply. So 20% of A, 20% or 0.20 times A is 11. So now we have to get A by itself. So we divide both sides by 0.20. Okay, 0.20. So if we divide this by 0.20, then we are left with, they cross each other out, and we're left with A. So whatever we do to that side, we have to do to this side. So now we've got 0.20. Okay? Now we have, this is a division problem, so we're going to take 11 and we're going to divide it by 0.20. Now, when we divide with decimals, we can never have a decimal here. So we are going to move it 2 places over. If we move it 2 places over there, we have to move it 2 places here. Remember, when we need a decimal, it comes at the end of a number. So now we'll just move it 2 places over here. And here's our decimal. Oops. There it is. Okay. So now how many 20s are in 1? None. How many 20s are in 11? None. So how many 20s are in 110? Well, there are 5 20s in 100, so let's try 5 here. It has to go over the 0. 5 times 20 is 100. All right, then we're going to subtract. Okay, 0 take away 0, 1 take away 0, and then bring down our 0. Now, how many 20s are in 100? We just did that. So we put another 5 here. 5 times 20 is 100. So remember, if the decimal point is at the end of the number, that's just a whole number. So this 55 with a decimal point is the same as just plain old 55. Okay? So 20% of 55 is 11. So A equals 55. Okay? All right. All right, so I think that you'll be able to do the rest of those. Just change 75% to a decimal. Remember, you take off the percent sign. There's when we need a decimal, we put it at the end, back of the number. And then to change it to a decimal, we go ahead and move it over to the left. So 0.75 times b, remember of is multiplication in math, b equals 12. So we know that we can just put those two together. 75b is the same thing as 75 times b, okay, equals 12. All right, now I should have changed colors. We want to get b by itself, so we're going to divide both sides by 75. Okay. All right, so these two cancel each other out. We're left with b. Then we come over here and we have to do this division problem. So 12, okay, we divided by, this should be 0.75, sorry, 0.75, okay. All right, 12 divided by 0.75. Okay, so remember what we said. We cannot have a decimal in the divisor, so we have to move it over 2 places. So if we do that to the divisor, we must do it to the dividend. So we're going to put a 0 here and another 0 and move it 2 places over. Whoops. So now, how many 75s are in 120? I think just one will go in there. So 1 times 75 is 75. And then let's subtract. Now we can't take 5 from 0, so we have to borrow from the 2 and make this a 1, make this a 10. 10 take away 5 is 5. And then we can't take 7 from 1, so we're going to borrow. 11 take away 7 is 4. And then we bring down a 0. So 75 into 450. Well, let's just guess and check on that one. So let's see. Let's try 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 7 is 42, plus 3 is 45. There we go. So our answer is 16. So 75% of 16 is 12. So B equals 16. All right? Okay. So I did 2 with you, so I think we'll let you go ahead and do 2 on your own. Okay? All right. Alrighty, let's see here. I have to move this screen up and get rid of this marker. Okay, there we go. All right, okay, so here is a list of expressions. Find any pairs of expressions that are equivalent. If you get stuck, try reasoning with diagrams. All right, let's see, we have to find pairs. So I'm going to give you a hint that there are 4 pairs. So you're going to look for 4 pairs, okay? All right, I'm going to do I do an easy one or a hard one? I will do a hard one, okay? All right, so I will do one for you. I will say that 1/3 A is the same as A divided by 3, okay? So let me show you why that is. Let's just give A a value. let's say that A equals 6, okay? So now let's go over here and find out, this is multiplication, 1/3 times 6. Okay, so remember to do that, we have to change 6 to a fraction, so 1/3, times 6/1, right? So we just multiply across. 1 times 6 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. That's a division problem. 3 divided by 6, or 6 divided by 3 is 2. Okay? All right, so we get 2 for this. Let's see what we get for this. Our A is 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Do you see that? All right, now they won't always be right next to each other, okay? But I want to give you a hint. Remember the commutative property? It doesn't matter if you add 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2. That's the same thing, okay? So take a look at these, and that give you, they don't have to be right next to each other, okay? All right, so you give that a chance, try that out and see if you can get 3 more. All right, let's take a look at this puzzle. Oh, wait, I just noticed something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, there's 5. I see. All of these will pair up, okay? They'll all pair up. So you'll have 5 different pairs. Okay, I did one for you. Okay, sorry about that. All right, now let's move on and look at the next one. All right, it says, what is the value of the last row? Okay, let's take a look at this. All right, so we're going to have to figure out what each of these is equal to. Okay, so let's see. There's 3. This has to be a certain number. 3 of this particular number equals 21. So let's think of our multiplication facts. 3 times what is 21? Right, 7. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and we know that the gray notebook is 7, 7, 7, right? Okay, there's 2 gray notebooks here, so we have to put 7 plus 7. This is 14. Okay, this is 2 gray notebooks, so that's 14. All right, so we have to find out what the gold notebook is, or yellow. I guess it's yellow. Okay, all right, so if we take 238 and we subtract, so we have to do these 2 first because of order of operations. So we don't know what the yellow is yet, but we can narrow it down. We're going to subtract 14 from both sides, and that will help us. 238 take away 14 is 4, 2, 224. So now we have gotten rid of this, and we subtracted 14 from this side. We subtracted 14 from this side, and we got 224. So now 224. All right. So we know, let's see, if we take that 224 and divide it by 14, we should be able to find out what the yellow is. Let's see. $14.84 4, 5. See, 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. All right. So we know that all of this is 16. Like this whole thing is 16. 14 times 16, but there's 2 of them here. So we have to divide 16 by 2, and we get 8. So the yellow must equal 8. So the yellow book, yellow, is 8. Equals 8. The gray, we know, equals 7. And now we have to find out the green. All right, let me change the color here a minute. So, okay, so we said that the yellow is 8. And we know that this yellow is also 8, and there's only one of them there. All right, so we know by order of operations, we have to do this first, okay? When we solve this. So this was 8. Okay. All right, so let's get rid of this 8. So if we subtract 8 here, and we subtract 8 here, we get 48 over here. So we know that this times this, oh, I'm sorry, 48 minus 8 is 40. Goodness sakes. Okay, so we know that 8 times something has to equal 40. Well, think of your multiplication facts. Okay, so the green has to be 5. All right, so let's put over here green is 5. All right, so I wish I could erase just this part so you could see. All right, well, let me write this down. Yellow is 8, gray is 7, and green is 5. All right, so let me take this off here so I can show you. All right, so they want us to ultimately solve for this, and I'm going to let you do that one, but let's take a look. We said yellow is 8. Oh, goodness. Gray is 7. And then green, we know, is 5. So let's see if that just works for us, okay? Green equals 5. All right, so this one we did 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. So that's easy peasy. We got that one, right? All right, so down here we have 2 notebooks, so 2 7s. So this has to be 14, 7 plus 7. And this is 7 plus 7 is 14. And the, whoops, and the gold, goodness sake, 14. Sorry, guys. And the yellow we said was 8. And we have 2 of those, so we've got 16 here. All right? So now to solve this, we can't do 14 plus 14. Remember our order of operations. We have to look at this, and we have to do this first. So 14 times 16 . 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 2 is 8. 1 times 4, 1 times 1. Then we add, and we get 224. All right, so these two are 224. Change the color so you can see. So this is 224, and to that 224, we now add the 14. So 224 plus 14 equals, look at that, 238. Okay? You see how we had to do that? So look at this one. Yellow is 8. We found out that green was 5. And we found, oh, this yellow is also 8. All right, but the tricky part is we have to go by order of operations. So we can't do 8 plus 5 is 13, and 13 times 8. We would not get 48, and that's how we know, oops, 13 times 8. See, if we did this straight across, 8 plus 5 is 13, times 8, we'd get 104. So you see, that's not right. But if we go by order of operations, which is what we need to do, and we do the 5 times 8 first, we get 40, and then 40 plus this 8 is 48. That's why order of operations is so important. All right, so I'm going to let you use this information to solve this. This is what they wanted you to do. What is the value of the last row? You've got all the notebooks values. So the yellow is 8. The green, notice there's 2 of them there, and there's 2 gray. All right, so I'll let you do that, and I believe we're done for the day then. All right, now I'll do the reading video now. All right, bye-bye. See you tomorrow.